Say something, I'm gonna pick up some protein bars that we can split on a regular basis because that really hits.
You liked it? Okay.
Right, and then we don't have to feel heavy.
Just push that like forward. I got.
Remember, Bret, by Christmas we're
heavy.
gonna be like this.
Mm-hmm. Chisel.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Me too.
Okay, we're gonna be banging
again. Okay, are we on? Are we?
Yes.
Shall I?
Oh, we are.
Yep.
All
yeah, you're gonna cut that stuff out. Okay, ready?
Sure.
Tradition. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. 1, 2, 3.
Cheers. 1, 2.
Oh.
Oh, it hits different every time.
That would hit.
Because we miss lunch.
I feel like I'm a farm girl right now. I'm like, woo. Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're ready.
Hey.
Here we go.
She's Candice.
Candice.
Candice is a pretty sounding name.
Candice is really 1 in a billion.
Oh, I love you so much, Candice.
Yeah. Who's Candice? So Kristina, I'm sorry about that.
Mental characteristics somebody with the name of Kristina experiences.
Kristina,
Kristina. You're Bret, right?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Bret. You tried to
The Modern Matters podcast with Candice, Kristina, and Bret.
All right. And we are back again. Yeah. 3rd episode. Kind of gets things rolling. It's exciting. Yeah. So today our topic is role models. Mm-hmm. We want to know, who do you roll with? That's good. Here's my girl Kristina, as always, myself Candice, and Bret.
Hi.
Oh. He was clearly into the tech.
Something's not working.
Uh-oh.
We're good. We're good.
Are we good?
We're good.
We rely on Bret for
We
all
are
the
so
tech,
grateful for
sure.
Bret. Let me tell you.
So quick recap for first ever episode. We did our intros. Hopefully people got a chance to watch or listen. That was great. Second episode, we discussed false narratives. We really got chatting on that, but the end of that podcast was a ton of fun. Bret, of course, pulls out some good bangers of topics or YouTube videos that are related to the topics. And today, for our 3rd episode, role models. And shall we?
Yeah, I just want to call out one thing from the previous episode. That we found out that there is an application where you can fake to have your partner put in a fake person into pictures.
AI.
And I just want to know if you've used it, or did you check it out at all? Because I'm telling you, that is way too much fun.
It should work with pets, animals.
Oh, good.
All that
So
stuff
anything
too,
that you desire, this application or this platform, you can create and put it in a picture, and then you could be
someone you're not.
Someone that you're not. And I just wanted to call that out. That's a little bit concerning. But anyways.
Or
okay.
you could be with someone you're not supposed to
It's
be
not
with.
supposed to be. So, always double check those photos. Now that makes you think, are they really in Hawaii or not?
It would be a neat science experiment. I think there's a few people that have actually gone out of their way to do that on social media. But
okay.
Anyways, much like the false things we see in social media, today's topic, I think, is interesting because I would say role models are sort of an ever-changing thing in society, because our role models will be different than the next generation, and then the generation before us, their role models would be different than ours in many cases.
Well, I would say, honestly, you have some classics, though, that they stand the,
test of time.
Of time. And I think that, it's funny because when we started this conversation, they didn't really pop up for me the way that I thought that they would, having our current day current day role models. I don't think that I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned with what I see on social media and like who's actually role modeling our kids or even others. Like I just don't see anything there that I feel very connected to.
Not like Hulk Hogan, take your vitamins.
Do you remember 80s? From the 80s?
Yes, he's the role model.
I totally remember that.
Yes.
And
he was every young person's role model too. I knew lots of kids that watched wrestling.
Absolutely.
Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there's all
so
of
it's
them.
funny. It's
Rest
funny.
in peace.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
It's funny that you looked like so far outward to the celebrity world or political, people that we look up to. I always kind of jump back with the podcast to being relatable. And the reason we wanted to create this platform, Kristina and Bret, I think is because we kept saying, we want to be able to speak to people that can relate to us. And so when you said role models, the first people I thought of were actually my parents. I know that kind of sounds cheesy because I think oftentimes we think outside of the family, but for me, I grew up with divorced parents and they got along extremely well. They put their own personal emotions and feelings aside in the interest of my sister and I. So when you brought up the topic of role models, that was where I immediately went. So I find it neat that you kind of thought in the realm of celebrities and those types of people. I mean, which they stand out too.
Well, I think celebrity is people automatically go there, but I think there is role models everywhere. If you actually take the time, like it could be a teacher, it could be a coach, it could be, your family members. And I think that, I guess I'll put this out to the group, like what makes someone a role model in your eyes?
They have to have a beard, I think.
even I guess you're open. It could be a female or a male. Right, it's just a beard.
No, I'm joking.
No way.
Sorry. I was like very concerned. Yeah.
You did have serious eyes.
No wonder he doesn't cry.
Yeah. That was the previous episode, guys.
If you guys can if you can find something for me to save the tear, I will really try to pop it out.
We're going to keep a shot glass always available.
Yeah. In the last episode, Bret mentioned how he doesn't cry. So jump back to episode 2 to understand the inside joke there. But anyway, staying on the topic of role models, Kristina, then who, when you did put some thought into it?
No, you guys didn't answer my question.
What? Sorry.
Oh, and we're going to go back.
Go back.
You guys brought me to the crew to hold you guys accountable.
True.
What?
You're our accountability buddy.
I am. I'm an accountability. Right?
How can I stay focused when this guy's coming up with beards and accountability?
Okay, so Bret has made it very clear that his role model has to have a beard. Okay,
so Santa
Claus is definitely Bret's, and he likes cookies. Yeah, that's good. But what about you? What is it that makes someone stand out?
What makes a role model? Yeah, that was your question. Sorry, Kristina. You're gonna have to bring me back a lot. For me, I would say a role model is really someone who you look up to, who you in some ways want to emulate in your life, I would say, or, who teaches you valuable lessons and who has done something to shift your mindset, I guess, or your belief in a positive way.
Well, and it leads by example, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
And I think, it's funny. I don't want to this person for me, on a personal level has been such an amazing role model, and I don't want to get emotional about it because every time when I speak about her, I just think that she is. Oh, she's just amazing.
I'm right here.
Are you ready? I know, Candice, you are amazing.
I'm right here.
You're gonna put that in there.
I would like to say, and I've said it on previous podcasts as well, but it's funny because when I'm a guest on someone else's podcast, they'll ask that, and I go where you go normally, where it's very close to home. My stepmom has been such an amazing role model to myself and my sisters. She always taught us at a very young age that, we could do anything, and it was never gender related. And she actually took on my brother and myself as her own 2 kids, and just proceeded. And she's like one of the closest people that I have in my life. She's my rock. And I just can't say thank you enough, because it takes people to step out of the norm and really kind of lead in a place of compassion and just be a really good person, to take on some other extra kids and just be this person without judgment, and basically raised my brother and I alongside with my sisters. And I am grateful every day that she is in my life. And so that is not easy to do. We're adults now and we have families, and to think of picking on or like acquiring other children into your life, that's not easy. And then on top of it, you layer it on, then bringing them in and loving them as they are your own. And to me, I'm like, that really says a lot about character, and that's the stuff that matters at the end of the day. So deep thoughts by Special K today, but that to me, that is really, really important when we're talking about the depth of what a role model is.
Well said. Well said. My finger was on the trigger to pop that Special K drop.
Okay, Special K.
It felt inappropriate.
Want to get emotional.
No, I'm good. I'm actually, and that is, the beauty of that is that now I can speak about that without getting emotional. That's how proud I am, and it's not something hidden, that I can actually speak about it openly. But for a very long time, it was one of those hidden secrets where I kind of admired from afar. But now I'm like, no, man, everybody should know how awesome this person is. And, and she's British, so she would be like, oh God, Kristina, stop it. We don't need to talk about this. But yes, she needs to know that, because I am the person that I am, because she provided the support and love that I needed. So
that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
great.
Nice, eh? Pretty nice.
I love that. Brett, who's your role model other than Santa Claus?
Yeah. And Hulk Hogan.
And Hulk Hogan was a good one.
And you, Candice.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Well, I have to say my parents for sure as well.
Copycat.
Exactly. The more I listened to Kristina's, I went, okay, I can bite some of that.
Yeah. This is a good one. Yeah. Okay.
But no, they lay the foundations for who I am today. So you can't deny how important that is, and how much I look up to them and looked up to them growing up and everything. So that's a given. I'm always looking, because I'm in the creative field, and I'm always trying to learn and to experiment with things too. I'm always looking at creative role models, and I'll kind of cherry pick from certain people. I know getting into this now with podcasting, I really am watching a lot of YouTubers who are putting out content, and how they're putting it out, and there's certain ways to do it effectively. So lately, it's been all the main daily vloggers that are just insane. Your biggest ones like Casey Neistat, who would put out a video every single day, regardless of what was going on in his life for at least a year. Yeah, and great storytelling too with the videos. Certainly any of the Photoshop people I was talking about in last week's episode, to just learning all the new equipment and to try to push yourself, and looking at kind of, I don't even want to say avant-garde artists, because that's kind of a weird term nowadays, because everybody's pushing art in such different directions that it's almost, I find, and what I'm looking at, it's coming back to tradition a little bit, like the fundamentals of good photography, of good portraiture, of good lighting and things like that. Creative use of color and stuff is being introduced that I'm seeing, but yeah, that's I don't really have one I'm cherry picking.
No, I think that's great. And I think that is reality. I don't think that we have one. There's so many different people that can have different offerings where you're like, hey, I'd love to learn more from that person, or I like what they represent. I like the way they show up. So.
Yeah, and I think there's people that are just quite the opposite.
Oh my God.
I don't want to get into the negativity.
I have it circled here.
Don't.
I don't know. It's a pet peeve. Maybe we'll bring her up, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is it that important? Let's try to stay on the page of role models, since we did do some digging.
Yeah,
looking.
We did a little bit, but so there's a couple of things. Social media is showcasing people all the time as role models. So we'll move from our everyday role models into more of that celebrity world. And with that, I picked a couple of names, and I want you guys to give me your opinion as to whether or not you think they're a role model or not, like what stands out. Is that fair? Okay. So the first one I'm going to start with is Beyonce.
I think there's elements to her character that it could be looked up to. I would say her being a celebrity with her husband and keeping their relationship fairly private for the most part is something to look up to for her status. I think she's done awesome things in the way of music for women. And I would say overall, I can't say that I know she's done anything majorly negative. So I would say I would lean more towards a role model. Like, she's very fashion forward. She's never, in my opinion, been too cross the line of being overly provocative.
I agree.
In my opinion. So I would give her a plus. I know people have their other opinions of her, which, I don't know her personally. So from what I perceive, I would say, if I had a daughter and she liked Beyonce, I would say it's good. It's not the worst thing.
Okay, so
that was long.
I would say that it's really not a 10 on that scale. It might be a 7, an 8.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not feeling the love. That's a role model.
I've always loved Beyonce. I mean, she can sing, she can dance, the acting part is there. I mean, but she performs.
Does she act? I didn't know she acted.
Yeah, she was in a couple of films, but yeah, because she's got a massive platform. And the way I look at people like that is, if your platform is that huge, you've got to be doing even more. And I'm sure she does a lot of charitable work and so on, but I think they could do more. I mean, come on, you make that kind of money, no child in the world should be hungry, in my opinion.
Yes, I'm just saying, no pressure. So what about you? Do you have any thoughts on Beyonce?
Yeah, I just I don't follow her closely. I look at the visuals that she puts out. She doesn't really do it for me much. I mean, I can appreciate what I think she does is she makes good creative choices and chooses people who can put forth her image in unique ways. Because Candice and I were looking when she had one of her children. I don't know how many she has. But she had a maternity shoot with a very interesting photographer who did a very creative job with flowers, and it was just a little bit different. And I thought, that's kind of a good choice from a photography perspective, which is how I was looking at it. But yeah, I think she just picks the right people to do the right things, to put her vision out there where she's not doing it all on her own.
Yeah.
So
well, and I think the other thing with her, it's very similar. I think she does a good job with representing a female in media and being a role model. But I agree 1,000,000%. If you have a platform like that and you have a following, there is an undue expectation that you should be doing more. Mm-hmm. And, I would say, she's doing stuff, but nothing jumps out like, wow, she's really doing stuff. I think she's kind of playing it safe a little bit when it comes to that piece of work. I think that there's more that she could potentially do there. Okay. Next person, the Dalai Lama.
The DL.
The DL.
DL. I mean, I don't know enough to really have much of an opinion. I obviously have several quotes that I love by the Dalai Lama, but I would say that the positivity, I don't think of anything negative.
I would give him a 10. I don't know why it feels like you're going to give him a 2.
He threw some shade somewhere. There was something where he kind of had a little, maybe it was like a clever backhanded compliment or something, but I was like, oh man, that's...
No one's perfect. Yeah. I can't really give anyone a 10.
Okay, so what would you give him? I feel like
he's like a heart. He's a 9.
Oh, okay, fine. 9. All right, that's good.
I only think of positivity, and truly some of my favorite quotes come from the Dalai Lama, but I don't really know what type of like effective changes he's making in the world, because if you're not there to receive those positive quotes, right? Like if you're not someone that's already somewhat in tune, he kind of goes past some people, right? I mean, he will touch others that may not be familiar with everything that he stands for, but no one's perfect and no one connects with everyone completely. So like,
did you find the shade?
I think is what I'm thinking is that he was eating pizza during an interview, which is
so that makes it.
I don't think maybe. No, I think there's two different things that he did. Funny. But when I just did a quick search, it's got him eating pizza in an interview, which that is kind of funny.
I'm just keeping. He maybe was hungry. Yeah, you are.
I am.
But you are hard on people.
The Dalai Lama. They're all going to be a 10. They all are.
Nobody can be a 10. We got to get this 10 out of our heads.
9.
He's a solid 9.
I'm going 4.
Good.
Oh, why? No, honestly, I think he is. Yeah, the pizza threw everything off.
I saw there was pineapple on it. So.
I actually think that he's pretty powerful. He's like one of the top ones in my boat. Like in your books, just because I feel like he has a calmness to him and kind of shows and opens up this whole other way around spirituality and a different way of being. It's not glam and glitz, right? Like Beyonce is glam and glitz. She's got all that. The Dalai Lama, you're going to cut that, is really about, that spiritual connection to self. And that to me really, really speaks to me. So.
He's kind of he's a beacon on his own where people can look to at certain times and not at others, where he's not the be all end all. You can go to him when you need him, I think. And he's always going to be there with some quote that's inspirational.
He's like too zen for me.
He's too zen. Oh, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to bring
someone with like a little more fight in them.
Okay, how about Eminem?
Oh, I love Eminem.
I really love him too. I'm telling you. I know he's controversial for some, but I love him.
Is he controversial anymore, though?
I think he got out of rehab, and then he was like different. Like
there's a lot of layers to that kind of celebrity. But I've always enjoyed his music, and obviously he's made music in an industry that, he's kind of been the guy that's the underdog, really, in his realm of work, and he's kind of just been like, screw you, I'm gonna carry on and just be really great at rapping. I'm again don't really know enough about any celebrity or famous person to give them a solid, but he's up there with the Dalai Lama for me.
I like him because I like the fact that he was the underdog, and I like that he shows that you can still fight and give it your all, and then you look at where he is now. Mm-hmm. And he didn't go back to his ex-wife.
I think he's somebody who current artists use as to stand on the shoulders of when they're doing their own music, right? Yes. Like he was groundbreaking, I think, during the 90s when he first came to light, and he really did garner such a big following unexpectedly. I don't think it was, he didn't assume he would catch on so much, or maybe they did, I don't know. But artists now are using him as a springing board for their own art, which is great. And
he's talented. Like to do the rapping the way that he does, it's like poetry. And I'm just like, the way that he can just throw stuff together just blows my mind. Have you ever
Do we
tried to
call
put
it
a
the rapping?
Well,
Or is it
what
called
is
rhymes?
it?
Is it
Oh
called
my!
rhymes?
Oh, I'm
I
so
don't know.
sorry. I remember her. I'm a farm girl who's like Special K. Yeah. So can you?
I don't really know.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm
rhymes.
asking.
Can you do a rhyme?
No, I mean, I guess if I had enough tequila, I might think I could, but definitely not. He's up there. Okay, who else do we have?
Oh my
Who
gosh,
else? Who else?
Candice.
Am
Okay.
I that tough? I'm not that tough of a critic. I mean, it's
Yes,
coming to me.
Angelina Jolie.
Definitely do not know enough about her. Honest to God.
Okay.
I really don't. Personally, can't speak. I mean, I know she's adopted several children, to my understanding. Is that true?
She's in the UN, and she was like really being an advocate for like human rights and all that stuff.
I don't know enough about Angelina Jolie, but I do love adoption and think that if people can do it and they do it, that is awesome, because if you have those resources available to raise children who would otherwise be in a system that is certainly broken worldwide, I admire her for that piece for sure. That's all I really know about her. So can't say much more. Bret?
Yeah, I don't really have.
Oh yeah,
an
nothing.
opinion
You guys,
either way.
this one really didn't do it for you. Okay, Oprah Winfrey.
I had to watch Oprah all the time because of my mother. It was like part of the after school shows we would watch when we'd come home from school. It was like Saved by the Bell, Family Matters, a couple other goodies, and Oprah. Oprah was always on. I mean, she's another one, great quotes. I think she's after something good. It's hard to speak on celebrities because you don't really know them personally. You know what they present to the world. As far as what I've read or seen, I mean, she's after something positive. So I gotta give her kudos for that. And she has accomplished a lot, being that she had the talk show, I think before any, I don't know for sure, so I don't like to throw information out there, but I don't think she was a majority in her line of work when she established herself, and she did a great job with interviews and things like that, from remembering the countless interviews she's done.
Couch jumping. I just rewatched that recently, the Tom Cruise couch jumping. When he was on.
He was on.
Oh
When
yes,
he went
yes,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean,
kinda
that's-
had that moment.
I think of her in that way, in that when I see Tom Cruise, I always have that in the back of my mind, like, oh, you seem like a bit of a crazy person,
Yeah.
which you have to be eccentric to do what he does, I guess. But I tie Oprah to that and to him because he did it on her show, right? And she used it to market the show. and whatever.
That is actually probably pretty smart to do.
Yeah.
Because that not many people have Tom Cruise jumping on their couch,
Right.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Unhinged,
Yeah.
bringing his new girlfriend back from backstage with no makeup on, where she's not prepared.
Oh,
and
see, I didn't. I
it's
missed
Oprah.
that.
remember
Oh my
all this.
god.
Oh yeah, like I said, I rewatched it recently with
Yeah,
some
it kind of
friends.
makes me want to go watch it, to be honest.
It's we watched the whole episode almost, like
Oh,
the whole.
yeah.
I don't know what early 2000s I think it was, but it was just shivers up my spine.
Was his girlfriend Katie Holmes
Yes,
at that time? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
See?
She's beautiful. One thing I have kind of looked into Oprah's social media over the years just to kind of stay a little in tune with her. She does have a pretty huge interest in gardening and farming and sustainability and stuff like that, which I like that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, she's up there for me too, for sure. From what I see, it's hard to comment on these people though, Kristina. We don't really know
this
that.
came from a list of the top 10 celebrity role models.
Cool.
So
Okay.
that's why I'm bringing it forward and just kind of seeing what your thoughts were, because there's something about these people that speaks to others around like, hey, this is the life that I want, or this is how they're showing up, or, I think that, with Oprah, I hear conflicting. Sometimes I hear, oh yeah, she's wonderful. And then other times I hear it's all fake. And that's kind of sad, right? When it looks like her overall platform, she uses her platform on a larger scale to try and impact quite a few people. So I think that is positive.
Yeah.
And
She
then-
built her platform really. Like she is the trendsetter when it comes
Absolutely.
to structuring business in the way that she has and separating herself from the other talk show hosts that were structured under the network and whatever, and created her own. And now it's almost like, I think of it a little bit like Howard Stern, in that there's structure. And if you listen to it for a long period of time, you'll get to know the recurring characters and whatever whoever he talks to, but there's no formal like commercial break type things. Like there are, but I'm not explaining it in the right way, where Oprah, she'll just do an interview with Meghan and Harry.
Yeah.
A one-off. It's not on a show specifically. It's her actual special that she's produced.
And she
everything.
did it as series, right? So they cut it where it was like 6 days or 6 sessions, right? That it was kind of shared out. But clever. It was very, very clever. I would say she's a strong, savvy businesswoman for sure.
Absolutely. She's, you can't take that away from her, whether she's nice to people or not. So she's definitely right up there for sure with the Dalai Lama.
And with the Dalai Lama, that's good. Because I have a couple more. Nelson Mandela. Do you guys know about? It's
the Mandela effect. Is that what you're going to say?
No. Okay. I think he's extremely powerful as a leader. These leaders that actually stand out for me: Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Dalai Lama. They all lead by heart, right? So that's why
lead by heart for sure.
And that's why they had the masses that follow them, because it's not about money per se. They actually, Martin Luther King, I have a dream, right? Like it actually creates this whole other wave and momentum of being something more, or believing into a life that is more. That's amazing. Like when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, they've changed many things in the world for many people, and to think that one individual could do so much, to me, is a huge deal, and speaks huge volumes to the strength of their character.
And I can't, considering everything that's just happened with the Queen and the monarch and all that, I want to bring up Princess Diana. What are your thoughts on Princess Diana before we close?
Okay, I have always had more of an interest in Princess Diana, even more so than the royal family. I just always kind of felt like she was somewhat of a black sheep in there, but she did a lot of really cool things that people took note of throughout the years. And I don't want to speak to certain dates and locations and times, but she stood out, and she kind of, I enjoy people that, what is it? Drum beat.
March to the beat of
their
their own drum.
Thank you. Wow. It's the tequila, the single tequila shot. March to the beat of their own drum. And I feel like Princess Diana did that with this level of class and poise. I found her really just like beautiful.
Yeah, she was known as Princess of the People, right? So what was really interesting about her as a role model is that, typically the monarch was always seemed as like they were very cold and withdrawn. It was just the way that it was. And, Princess Diana was one who was all heart, and she would just go in. And there was one situation where she was really advocating for AIDS, I believe, and she went and hugged someone who had AIDS, especially at that particular time.
Where people were
in shock about it.
I remember this, actually.
And it's one of those things that it takes that courage to kind of break through what other people are thinking and just doing what is right. And those are humanitarian efforts. Like it's very, very impressive when you think about that.
Yeah. She lived to serve others, and she used her position to serve others too, to really put herself out there to make aware of many things people at the time weren't.
And that's like we've said it before, but that is something that is so important, at least for me, is that if you are in a position where you have a platform to do this, what will you do with it? It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm great and all this stuff, I'm a role model, but are you really giving it? You have to give back at some point. And, a lot of these folks, some more so than others, that really did give back to society or to communities. And that's really, I think, the whole point of having a real role model.
Like someone we know in our real life you're referring to, or a real role model as someone who is valuable to look up to?
I think it's both. I'm talking about the list that we just went through, like just basically the ones that really stand out are the ones that understand it's about you are, serving back into your community. If you were fortunate enough to be a role model in that level and you have that platform, you give back in order to help others grow and kind of be who they're supposed to be. And though we've named a couple that definitely have done that and utilized their platform effectively.
For sure.
Yeah, I like it. I like the role model piece.
Yeah, well, I would like to say that there's others that don't, like Kim Kardashian. I just needed to drop it.
Your favorite?
Yes, my favorite. It bothers me so much. She's not
a role model, really.
No, that's why I put a big not beside her name.
If we can, I'm thinking of swapping out one of those pictures behind you guys of at least one of the Kardashians.
Oh, that please.
To trigger.
Please. It'll trigger me
focus.
Every time.
It'll bring your focus in, and you can harness the anger.
Every time.
So I just quickly, I know that she triggers you, Kristina, or the family, and what they sort of don't do rather than what they do. Just going back kind of full circle to me mentioning my parents and Bret and your stepmom and people in our real life that are role models. I think the important thing, especially in today's world, and this is just an opinion, I could be way out to lunch with this, but I want to just get this out there, is it is critical that we as parents or elders, like my kids look up to Bret a lot. They call him Uncle Bret.
Or Uncle Andreas.
Or Uncle Andreas. I don't know why, but anyhow. I think it's important we bring it back to the importance of role models in our household, in our education system, in the things that are at arm's reach for our kids too, because they are seeing a lot of things like, the Kardashians or whatever it be that may not be the best role model for them. And so I think we have to bring it back to the impression and the ability for our youth to look up to.
Well, and this is going to get me fired up.
Okay,
I can feel. No, but you're right.
This is why we need that picture.
Yeah,
up.
that picture. Because, guys, if you think about our kids, right, or just people in general, how much they're on their phone and screening and kind of scrolling through and seeing TikTok and different videos, that is what ends up teaching our kids, right? Mm-hmm. So back to your point, if we don't have role models that are physically present in front of them, where do you think they're going to go to get their intel as to who they should be?
Right. And again, I think that we can't change or fix that. So I think it's an interesting balance between allowing them to see it, allowing them to know it exists, and then talking to them about why it may not be the best thing. And this can kind of segue into many other topics. So before we really take off and go somewhere else with it, I think it's valuable to know that there are people not only in our lives, physical people, like people we know, and celebrities who are there that our youth look up to and whom we should not see as a role model, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think that I think it's the awareness, and that's why we felt as though we needed to talk about role models.
Yeah, I agree.
And that, this is not something that we should just take for granted and say, hey, there's going to be role models. Perhaps it's someone in the audience that's listening today. Are you a role model? Are you going to show up in a way that you're actually going to make a positive impact in this world, in your community? We're trying to use this platform right now to kind of share the messages out about, we need to do more, because if we don't, then we start getting, I hate to say it, a little complacent, and we start falling into like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Of course, there's role models. But I'm telling you, our kids and even myself and others, it's too easy to fall back into not doing anything and thinking that someone else is going to step forward and be that role model. So something to think about.
I wonder what Bret's got.
Well, sometimes we look out to others when we're in public, or we look to others maybe with your children. I don't know. Like I said, I don't, or like we talked about before, I don't have my own as of yet, but sometimes it might be simple as a baseball game.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this.
Foul ball for her.
Oh man.
She stole it right from the kid.
She took it?
From the child.
No.
Which baseball is for children.
That looks like Kris Jenner.
Look at her. She totally yanked it.
Even the child is going, this is not what an
Look
adult
at her.
should
Oh,
be
that
doing.
one next to her is cringing.
And they're high-fiving each other.
Unaware. Completely.
Can I say loser?
Well,
no, I say loser, Candice.
I
There's
hope
no
this
way.
changes. It's going to change. She's going to
No,
realize.
This is a classic clip as well. I just...
Can we play it again? Because I honestly, I'm like,
No,
watch.
it's not over. Is it over?
It's
She
over,
doesn't
yeah.
change
Watch
her mind?
the
No, I
group.
mean, they pointed
watch
it
the
out
group here. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the one girl's cringing.
She's like, don't touch me.
Right,
And the
she's
other
like-
one's,
Lady doing to that little gal. She took the ball. Juan Marie
look at her.
Give it to the little gal.
took it out of her hand.
Out of her hands, yanked it.
You know,
And the kid is like, what is going on here?
do you know what this reminds me of?
Oh my God.
Right. This reminds me of when we have watched the bouquet toss at weddings
Oh, yeah.
and girls. have
I think that's more understandable.
No, this is an adult with a child.
Yeah, with a
Still,
child.
At a baseball
The
game.
rule of thumb, I love baseball. It's really the only sport I follow.
That was a
You
lot.
give the ball to a child at a game. You give the ball to a kid. That's just like
Yeah,
an unwritten rule.
That is mortifying. That's
can't even
caught on
believe-
camera. And then people high-fiving her.
Yeah, the one girl was like, no,
Don't touch me.
don't
And
touch
everyone
me.
else is like, yeah, man, you took it from a kid.
It was mostly the little girl who I think had the most awareness to be like, this is not a role model.
Yeah,
to me. This is
exactly. Not a role
You're
model.
not supposed
and
to be doing this.
Literally, she had it in her hands and she yanked it out.
Yeah.
She's an animal.
Oh my God. Well, don't do that,
Don't do
guys.
that.
You
These-
understand the
that's-
etiquette. This is what we're talking about, role models.
Yes.
Just
yeah.
go into your community and be a role model, as Kristina says.
A lot of our role models too are elderly people and aging with grace and
I
things
love
like that.
that.
So
Okay,
I
let's see what you
certainly
got.
want to be one of these people.
Oh.
Bam.
That's
Nailing it,
everyone
right?
is cheering.
Will you
him
see
on.
how
This is
happy
amazing.
everybody is? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like
Cross-legged.
Giving joy. That is a part of
Amazing.
being a role model.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I can see you doing that too, Brett.
Having
Yeah.
some fun.
Oh, I hope so. Like, you got to get good.
On that scooter for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I got another
is
one
it
too.
another scooter one?
This is a lane.
Oh.
Don't try this shit at home.
Don't try this.
He does it as a
guy's my
drive-by.
hero.
Yeah.
It's a drive-by. Look at him.
Shit at home.
Yeah. Joy for life, guys. Leading by
That is
example.
amazing.
Don't try this shit at
And
home.
he's trying to get people to be safe.
Exactly.
I love this guy. Don't try this at home. Amazing. Amazing.
Oh, these are always great.
So then we have Drift Dad, who's a dad who has a passion for race car drifting with his son.
Okay.
It's a hobby they share together.
It scares me. I'm scared.
Oh my God. How old is this kid? Oh. Look at him smile.
I'm scared though.
Look at
This
him.
kid's amazing.
He's so
Really
happy.
excited. Those eyes.
His eyes just keep
Yeah.
gets more and more into it. And look at the dad.
Yeah.
Not even a smile.
He's keeping safety in mind,
Yeah,
right?
safety
Here.
first. Safety first.
Oh my goodness. Oh, watch on sunlight.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God.
My mind immediately goes
I know,
to like,
I'm
where
like,
are your
oh.
helmets?
Yeah, well, and that I think was a bit of the the criticism with this too, they've done a couple, this Drift Dad's done a couple different videos, and there was criticism that it's for safety or whatever, and all of the most recent ones, they are wearing helmets, wearing safety equipment and stuff. I don't know, I didn't read too much into it, but it was...
parents don't set out for the most part with the intention to hurt their child. He was just looking to create that joyful moment.
I don't think it was the safest moment.
No, definitely not. But they're...
Look at it. The kid looks like he's going to fall out right now. He just looks like he's like only a matter of time.
You can only assume that the dad knows what he's doing.
I'm pretty sure it's a controlled environment. Yeah. Let's just...
So you guys can relate probably to the last one, as you are both supportive role model moms.
Hopefully.
Oh boy, let's see what happens here.
Performing to his mom. That's it.
To his mom?
She's there. Number one fan.
You know what? I would do that for my kids too. I'd be a supporter. Look at her.
She's into it.
Yeah, that's a role model right there. Watching her mom, watching her kid, and supporting.
Now the video said that was his mom. I don't know that it is. It might just be an actual supporter, but let's assume it is his mom and she's his role model.
Yeah. Well,
she's his role model. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I'm that good of a mother, guys. I don't know. I'd be sitting in the grass and be okay with my kid standing on top of the van performing to no one.
I don't know. I think that he's doing something.
Mm-hmm. You also told Bret that the tech stuff in episode 1, when we were introducing ourselves, was a 10, Kristina.
Yeah.
So
maybe my rating is really a little bit off. I'm a lot nicer.
And I was expecting an 11.
Yeah, you were thinking 11. Perfect.
No, good for her. That is really supportive. If that is her mom, if that is in fact his mom, sorry, but yeah, I'd be like, I think it's time to go to work. No one's coming.
I would give it a little bit if that was really.
Could have been sound check. He could have been just.
Oh, true.
Starting.
Yeah.
We don't know the context.
We don't know the context.
Why was he on the other side of the street? There's just a lot.
Performing on the van. You need to be elevated. You need a riser.
Well, guys, I have to tell you, I know we are just beginning this project together, but so far it has been fun.
It is fun.
Great conversation.
Yes, it is fun.
And I hope we are bringing enough to whomever is tuning in. And I'd like to remind people that we would love any feedback.
Yes, and to follow us, our call to action is to give us a follow, check out our website and DM us directly. If you do have any comments or thoughts, we're always open and we would love to hear more. And, this is really exciting. I am a true believer that these messages are going to get out to the people that need to hear them. And, this is about just providing a different perspective on things and just to kind of make you think a little bit more about some stuff.
Yeah. Knowing we can have different opinions and still sit at the same table. Oh, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That was fun. Good job, Bret.
Good
you
job.
and your videos. I don't know if I should be afraid or if I'm going to have a laugh.
I'm keeping them safe.
I thought that they are much more
much
tame.
more tame.
Yes.